everyone, it's Catherine, the Needleberry Stitcher. Today is Saturday, April the 6th. Yes, because Monday's the 8th. Monday's when we have our solar eclipse, and it's actually gonna, here in St. Louis, Missouri in the US, we're kind of right on the edge of the full eclipse. Is gonna be just about maybe 50 miles to the south of St. Louis, so we're gonna be pretty close to a full eclipse, but not quite. But it's still gonna be kind of interesting. It's supposed to be 2 o'clock p.m. No, yeah, 2 o'clock? I think 2 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon is when it's going to be full, or 99% eclipse for our area. So going to be kind of fun. It's kind of one of those things that doesn't happen very often, and it marks a point in time. So that's how I can like calculate that today's the 6th. Otherwise, I have no idea what day it is because work's been crazy. And as you can tell, I haven't been here for a couple of months doing a video. Haven't done a lot of stitching, a little bit. I shouldn't say I haven't done a lot. I've done some, but I've had fewer stitching days than I typically would have in a month. So I just didn't feel like I had a whole lot to show until now. And even now, there's not a lot to show, but I will show you what I've been working on the last couple months. I'm going to get right into the stitching. I know we have a few things to get through. My last video, I had a giveaway, so I'll do that a little bit later and announce the winners. But for now, I'm going to just jump into the stitching. And what I currently have on my Lowry frame that I've been working on the past week or so is a cross stitch kit by Luca-S. It's called, it says it's called, it doesn't even say on the front what it is. Oh, Portrait of Girl. But if you look on on different websites, it actually can also be listed as Girl Selling Flowers. But this is what the kit looks like. This was a gift from my daughter for Christmas last December. And this is where I'm at right now. And I still have my thread on my needle, so you'll have to ignore that. And I'm just working in diagonals, just kind of coming across here. I'm trying to avoid grid lines. So I think you can tell that, like, there's really not, I'm not gonna have anything white to put behind it. Let's see. So it's not showing tons of, it doesn't look like it's showing in the grid lines, at least from here. And that was what I was trying to avoid, was not so much the grid lines themselves, but just having like stop. This is all like from here across. This is all one color in the background. And I didn't want to have lines going down where you, because sometimes when you stitch, you can see lines where if you stop and start very abruptly, because you can see here on the fabric, there's grid lines. If I were to just like do blocks of 10 and just go down, I feel like there would leave those, just the lines in the stitching from where you stop and start. So doing it on the diagonal, I think it has done a pretty good job of avoiding those grid lines. But yeah, just still working. I picked one color. I was doing full diagonals, but then I decided to just pick this one top color and just work it all the way across. And this is the, right here is the middle. So I've reached at least the middle on the very top of my diagonal, but I'm just going to work that one color all the way across and then pick the next color that was used up in here and just work that one across. And at least for the background, to get the background done. That's how I thought I would work it. But I had floss on my thread from when I got to the bottom of this diagonal. So I just took it over here and did some stitches and then just kind of worked just a half stitch going up the edge. So now all I have to do is just fill in and just finish this half. It's just a half cross going up. And when I come over here, I can just go and finish that cross and come back and then go across again and then finish that half cross into a full cross and come back. So I'm just filling in all the way down. It's very easy stitching, kind of mindless. So it's great if I want to watch a show or if I'm just really stressed out because of work, if I've had a long day at work and I just kind of want some easy stitching. It's working out to be really just easier on my brain. Work's been really busy and it's supposed to continue to be busy for the next few months through the summer. So, but I love my work. So that's a bonus. If you have a job that you actually enjoy and you don't dread going in every day, and I get to work from home a couple days a week, and it's a good balance, and I love my work too. So it's always fun. The next thing that I worked on from the last time is my Mirabilia Cinderella Castle. I'm going to put a picture for some of these because I didn't have all of my, I just kind of pulled the projects and I didn't pull all of the kit and everything and the pictures and everything, but anyway, my Mirabilia Cinderella piece, this is where I'm at so far. I think the last time I had just kind of finished some of the castle over to here, and so since then I've completely finished all of the greenery and all of the castle. All of the Krynic is in, but the only thing missing right now are the beads. But I'm also doing a conversion on this one. So the border is charted to be more of like browns and golds and tan colors, and I've converted it to use a sulky thread. It comes on a spool. I can't remember exactly what the color is, but it's a 12-weight sulky thread that's variegated, and I'll put the name of it. If I can remember, I'll put it in the description below. But anyway, that's what I'm doing for that. And then I also charted the castle was supposed to be in some gray colors, and I took the same border variegated sulky thread and I made it look, I hope it looks like it's more like brickwork instead of just a flat color. I wanted the castle to have just as much pop and flair as the rest of the design does. Because I think the castle in the original charted design, it's really pretty, but just kind of sits in the background. It has a lot of golds. I converted the roofs on here to more of gray instead of the gold. So cooler tones in this design in some of the color conversions. I kept the same colors for all of the trees, the same color for the backlit lighted windows and doorways. It was calling for Krynic color for the back stitching on the gate. Here are the gate and the entryway, and then some of the windows and background. I decided not to do that, and I just did a gray color because it just didn't seem like it was, it felt like it wasn't giving a crisp enough line for me, for my liking, for the windows to actually show the colors and the background. Like the gate was starting, like each of the individual lines for the gate were starting to blob together, so you couldn't see the individual lines. And same with the background and the back stitch in the windows. You couldn't actually see what looked like windows. They were just kind of clumping together, and it just looked like a blob of silvery metallic floss. So I switched it out. And then the dress, I've completely switched out the colors of the dress. I'm using the same conversion that was done by someone named, her first name is Amelie, and she has a Facebook post in the Mirabilia Conversions Facebook group where you can get all the different converted designs. She's got her version out there, so that's what I'm doing on the dress. So this is just a very small start to the dress. The stairs here were charted the same as the castle with a light gray. You can see this color, the lighter color of the gray in the steps was what the castle was supposed to be. And I actually took this color and I started doing the stairs. I got about halfway down and realized that this variegated color in the steps didn't give any dimension at all. Like it just, you couldn't tell they were stairs. So I went back and picked it out, and then instead of using the variegated color, I took the actual charted color of the castle. And I think the stairs turned out a whole lot better just using that charted color, because it gives a little bit of a break between like, here's the castle and then here's the stairs coming down. Before it just kind of looked like a blob that was like, what is that? I couldn't really tell what it was. And so over here, the stairs, and then this part over here, it's more of like a courtyard area. That's kind of where I took the break from the bottom of the castle line, and then just this part down I did in the charted color. So I haven't worked on this one since probably January. Yeah, I don't think I worked on it much, maybe a little bit in February, but I haven't worked on it at all in March. But another one I'd like to pull out and work on again in the next few weeks. Kind of thinking I'll just kind of do a very limited rotation of projects, like maybe between my Luca-S kit and my Cinderella Mirabilia, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a small, like something to just kind of work in between. But nope, you know, real big plans. I haven't been planning really to do much. I've just been stitching on whatever I feel like stitching on. And then March, I didn't have a lot of stitching time in March, but it worked out fine because I ended up reaching out to Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe, and she had just started her online Etsy business, and she had a few patterns out there, and I said, I would love to stitch something for you, and anyway, she was looking for, she said she doesn't want to post anything in her Etsy shop that doesn't have a model stitch because she wants to show what it's actually going to look like when it's done. So I was like, hey, can I model stitch something for you? And she was like, okay. So she sent me, she asked me what parks, because I said I liked the national parks, and so she said, what park do you like? And my husband and I have spent a lot of time at Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, and so she charted Rocky Mountain National Park photo, and then she sent it to me, and I model stitched it. So I did all of the stitching. It was about 6,000 stitches total, roughly around 6,000, and it's full coverage. And then I finished and framed it also. So this is what it looks like. Try and get it so there's no glare, or not so much glare. So this is a picture of Rocky Mountain National Park, and I think it turned out really nice. And I love the frame that I chose for it too. I feel like this gray color really allows a lot of the accent colors in it to, oh there, that's better. Allows a lot of the accent colors to pop. So that's what I spent the month of March working on. I think that's all I worked on in March because of just busy schedules and a lot going on. And I just didn't feel like stitching. You know, you just kind of go through phases sometimes where you just don't feel like stitching quite as much as normal. And I'm kind of over that hump of not feeling like stitching, and now I'm kind of feeling more like stitching again. So that's why you didn't see a video from me for a while. I just didn't feel like I had much to show. I also picked up and worked on partially in January, and then I also did a little bit of this maybe at the end of March, just at the very end of March or first week of April. I picked it up, and this is a kit, and it's a dimensions kit called Victorian Bear Stocking. Now I don't have the full kit, all I have is the pattern, so I had to go out and source the materials, the fabric and threads, and I just ended up doing a DMC conversion for the threads. What has kept me from getting very far on this is the fabric. So I'll show you where I got on it. Not very far. Obviously you can tell who I'm making it for. I'm the only one in my family that doesn't have a stocking that was somehow handmade. My kids have stockings. They're felted stockings. They're not cross-stitched. But I asked both of them if either of them would like to have a cross-stitch stocking, and they're at the phase of their life where they're just moving out and on their own, and they don't want a bunch of their stuff with them. So they're apartment living, and so we have stuff in storage for them, and they'll come back for it someday. So I think they were both kind of like, it's okay. We don't really need one right now, but I don't know, maybe in the future. But so I thought, well, I'm the only one who's just got like a standard like store issue, very plain basic stocking. Doesn't even have my name on it. So I thought, I'll just make one for me. And I really love the Victorian Bear stocking. Amanda is working on it, Lucky Chance Stitcher, and I think Amber Rogue Mama Stitcher might be working on it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she started it as well. And you know, the kits are really hard to come by, but I had an easier time just searching for the pattern. So, and I've been doing that lately on eBay and on Mercari. Sometimes you can go out and just search and say pattern, like you can put in the name of a pattern you want and do dimensions whatever, pattern only, and you'd be surprised how many people finish a kit and then they'll put their pattern out there for sale. I've gotten several lately off of Mercari that were pattern only, and like one of them even came with the original packaging. It's I'll show you. It's Flight of Freedom. This is the one I ordered. I searched for this. It was out on Mercari, and I just put in pattern only just to see what would come back, and this one came up pattern only, and I'm like, well, that's a really nice one, and I think it's out of print, and I think it's really expensive if you want to buy it. At least, I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen this one come up on eBay, but anyway, it's the original packaging. It's been opened. There's no materials or anything with it. All it is just the pattern. That's it. It's the pattern and what it came in. So I'm like, I'm just going to start doing that from now on. I can convert to DMC. There's a couple of different conversion charts online that you can convert dimensions colors to DMC colors. And that's totally fine for me. So that's what I'm going to start doing. because some of these kits are just absolutely ridiculously priced. This one, this Victorian Bears, it goes for like, what, $250, $300 on eBay. Like, I just can't spend that much on one kit. That's just too much. But anyway, what I don't like about what I did with this is the fabric that I chose. I'm not sure what to do with it because it's a loops and threads fabric. It's an 18 count Aida from Michaels. I don't like the fabric. It's very stiff. And when I'm putting my needle through the holes, I'm killing my fingers I need to get some kind of padding or something just to grab the needle and pull it through the holes. It's like a major battle. It's like a war. I feel like my fingers have gone through like major, some kind of something. It's really, really hard to get the needle through. So my fingers hurt when I'm done working on it. However, the nice thing about it is because it's so stiff, I feel like that would make for a really good stocking fabric because if I go, you know what dimensions kits are like. There's like, oh, okay, use 5 strands, right? And you put 5 strands on a needle, and that's part of probably why I'm fighting to get my needle through. This is all called for 5 strands across the top, half stitch. I'm doing 4 strands, which I think is fine. I think it's enough coverage. I mean, you can tell there's no issue there with coverage whatsoever. But I'm able to do the loop start because I'm only using 4 strands. And so I think that because this material is so stiff, it's going to make for a really nice stocking. It's going to hold up. The last thing I want to do is a dimensions kit on linen. Because when you're working with 5 strands or 4 strands, even with a half stitch, it's so bulky and it's so hard to get through the holes. I feel like I would completely wreck or destroy a linen trying to pull that many strands through the fabric. So it's pros and cons, right? So I like it because it's stiff and I feel like it's more like a canvas to be able to pull my threads through, and it holds up really well, but it's just killing my fingers. So if any of you guys use anything like that to grip your needle or to grab your needle that is less hard on your fingertips when you're working on it, I would love to know what you use. I'm gonna go Google it. I just haven't yet. And go Google and see if there's some kind of like rubber grips that I can put them. I mean, I don't want to use a thimble. I don't like thimbles because I can't feel through them. But I'm sure there's some kind of like finger cover things I think I've seen before that you can actually get to cover your fingertips. And because they're rubber, they grab the needle real well. So that's what I'm going to go searching for. So that's the progress on my stocking. I've never done a dimension stocking before. I have several kits, but full kits that I've gotten that obviously they're the ones that are not out of print yet because I'm kind of going El Cheapo on some of my purchases lately. I'm going more for being able to buy more things at a more reasonable price instead of, in the past I've been like, oh, there's an out of print kit that I don't have, and so I'll like add to my collection. But I'm trying to do less of that because it adds up. It's expensive if you want to get a collection of things, and I am a collector of things just as much as I am a stitcher of things. In fact, I probably collect more than I stitch. So what else have I worked on? I think there's only one other thing that I might have put stitches in on since the last video. And that's, let's see. I actually have the pattern because this is sitting here. This is my Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs. And I may or may not have put stitches in this since my last video. I honestly don't know, and I haven't gone back to look. But a couple of stitch alongs going on with this. I had been doing a Zoom call on the first Saturday of every month. And I did the first couple months, and then for the last 2 months on the first Saturday of the month, I just haven't been able to get, I've set up the Zoom calls, but I haven't been able to attend them. And I feel really bad because, I mean, it started out with the best of intentions, but my Saturdays now, especially with the weather getting warmer, I have less and less time on my Saturdays to do stuff because I'm outside more and I'm doing more with my husband and we're going and spending the day together. And so I don't know how the first Saturday of the month the Zoom calls are going to go going forward. I may not be able to do those anymore, at least maybe for a while. But Stephanie of Cross Stitch the Globe, she also has a stitch along going for Strawberry Fields Forever. It's actually for the whole series of, because there's a series of 6 patterns that go with the Strawberry Fields Forever. This is the second. It's the Magical Mystery Tour series, and this is the second one in that series. So she's worked on the submarine, the Yellow Submarine, and she's also been working on Strawberry Fields Forever. So if you're interested, if you've been on my Zoom calls and you want to continue doing a stitch along, and because I've just not been able to do those, if you want to contact Stephanie and see how that's going, or she may be just doing it as more of a stitching and doing Instagram tagging. So check her out and see how she's handling her stitch along if you want to join that one. But anyway, here is my progress, where I'm at so far. So not a ton since the last time. I did a bunch of it in December. I still have some areas that I've left for fill-in, and that's for just in case if I do a Zoom call, or I thought if I left the windows so that I can just stitch in real easy fill if I just want to pick it up and work on it. And the same with the wall down here, the brick wall. I left all these bricks open. I just did the background. I'm going to do the same on the other side because the same thing is repeated over here to have the wall. So I'll do the background and then just leave the block stitching for later. When I actually feel like counting, I can go do like the fussy stitching, and then when I feel like just doing fill-in, I can do that. So I really want to pick this one up more, because it's not a real big one. Like for a sampler, it's actually a pretty good size. If you look at it, I mean, this is how much of it I have done. There's not really a lot left. There's not a lot to the design. It's the house, and then there's some background and the border. And I mean, I'm not saying there's not a lot to it, but compared to some of the other Blackbird designs and other samplers out there, this one stitches up pretty quick and it's not super big. Which is probably why I started it, because I thought, oh, that's something I might actually be able to finish in my lifetime. So I think that's all that I've stitched on that I can think of since the last time. I have done some collecting. I also had some purchases, but I'm not going to get into a ton of my purchases. I honestly don't think I could get through we'd be here for a really long time, because I've been collecting for the last few months, and I'll put a picture in. I actually have 4 cubbies, like these little square cubby things now. I have dedicated just to my Dimensions kit collection. So in my picture here, it's a picture of my 4 cubbies. I got a separate little stand like this. This is a 9 square cubby thing, a shelf system, and then I have 2 of these, so there's 18 little cubby things, but I got a separate one that just has 4, and that's all just Dimensions. My kits that I've collected, and then the ones that are in project bags are the Dimension kits that I've started, except for my stocking, which is not in there right now because I was just showing it to you. But as part of my purchases, I do want to show you a couple things. One is a beautiful project bag that I got from Mimi's Stitchery. Amy opened up an Etsy shop, and her channel, she has a FlossTube channel too. Mimi's Stitchery. Isn't that the same? I think that's the same name as your FlossTube channel, Mimi's Stitchery. But anyway, she's on Etsy as well. And look in my description below and you'll see I'll tag Amy's shop, or at least her YouTube channel, so you can go check her out. And she loves to stitch a lot of the same things I do, which is, I just love seeing what she's working on. She does a mix of Mirabilias and Dimensions and full coverage, and in fact we share a lot of the same projects. Some of them I've copied because I saw them on her channel and thought I have to go do that. So, but some of them we actually had in common from before. There's a Disney full coverage Disney with the Mickey Mouse and all the Disney character scenes and stuff. We both have World of Disney, I think it's called, and were working on that before, and I think that might be one of the first things I saw on her channel. I was like, oh, I'm gonna love watching her. And I met her at Stitch North last year for the first time in person. So anyway, back to what I purchased from her was this gorgeous project bag. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I just love this. I love the fabric that she chose. I mean, this whole fabric line, this whole series of fabrics, this comes in green, it comes in the red, there's like black, and there's different versions of the design on the fabric. But anyway, as soon as I saw this, it was before Easter, and I fell in love with it, and I had to have it. It was closer to Valentine's Day, I think, but it's got a beautiful little zipper pull And then inside, she's got a coordinating fabric. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I absolutely love it. So check out her Etsy shop. She's got beautiful bags out there. And then the other thing I wanted to show was my ever-growing collection of Oak Crown Studios fabrics. So I'm in the Fabric of the Month. I am very proud to say that I'm an inaugural member of the Fabric of the Month Club from Oak Crown Studios. Amy, who is Fiber Arts Amy on Instagram and FlossTube. She has a FlossTube channel. She shows a lot of her fabrics on her channel as well. But this is her card. And so her first month of opening Oak Crown Studios with the Fabric of the Month Club was November, and I've got all of the fabrics here so far that she has issued. There's 5 so far. And I just got notified that this month's is going to be in progress, so I'll be getting that later this month. But like, look at these gorgeous colors. These gorgeous colors of the rainbow. I'm going to show each of them. This first one from November is called Firefly. And she always writes a little note with her fabric where she'll say what she thinks would look good on it stitched. And on this one, the very first one, she said she suggested Firefly Fairies from Nora Corbett. No, not Nora Corbett. It's her mother. It's Marilyn Levitt Emblem, who did the Firefly Fairies as part of the what's the series? There's Lavender and Lace. I always think of Butternut Road first, which is one of the series. There's Butternut Road, there's Lavender and Lace, there's 3 different. But anyway, so this was what she suggested for that one, which I think would be amazing. I think it's perfect because it has that splash in the middle. That would be perfect for if you're familiar with that chart. So I have the chart, but I can't find it. And I've looked through my stuff. And I'm trying to remember if I lent it to someone or not. But anyway, I know I have it, so I'm going to have to find it. I don't have any plans to start it anytime soon, but I do want to do that. Because that's one of the out of print patterns too, which there are not very many lavender and lace patterns that are out of print, but I think that is one of them that's a little harder to find now. So, and then the next month from December is called Seaweed, and that's this one. I won't open it up all the way. I'll just show. Isn't that so pretty? Love, love that one. And then we have January, which is called Shell. Looks like I still have some of the paperwork from it. This one, it's called Shell. Isn't that beautiful? I could see some Nora Corbett fairies on this fabric for sure. There's a few that would be spectacular. And I'm part of the, let's see, what am I doing? 28 count linen fat quarter. That's what I have as my monthly subscription. And then February is called Crystal Ball. It's a lovely, lovely purple, lavender purple color. Very, very pretty. And then my most recent one from March is called Rough Ocean. And she said, this is inspired by a series of books I've been reading, written by Ellie Griffiths, Dr. Ruth Galloway Mysteries. The books take place on the Norfolk coast of England, and her books contain visceral descriptions of the coastline. The sea itself almost becomes its own character in the book. So I agree. I think this looks like a rough ocean, doesn't it? It looks like choppy waves. It's not quite as I guess it is. I was going to say it's not quite as splotchy as what it looks like in the camera. It's not quite. It's a little more muted. All of her fabrics, they're not quite as the dark and lighter colors are not quite so contrasted in real life. They look a little bit more contrasted in the camera. But anyway, I think these are gorgeous, and I can't wait to put some designs on them. Most likely I will do Nora Corbett's or Mirabilia's or Lavender and Lace or something, because I think those are my favorite for some of the more variegated and mottled fabrics, vibrant colors. And I think that's all I have to show you. I'd have to do another video. I keep thinking I might do another video just to do an updated version of my Dimension Kit collection, and including the ones that I've started. So like all of them, like, because I've collected quite a few now, more than I had a couple years ago when I first did my Dimensions Kit Parade. And let me think. I don't know. I was toying with doing a full kit parade, or not kit, a whip parade, because I did one in December of 2022. I thought, and I didn't do a full whip parade in December of 2023. I just did a whip parade of what I worked on in 2023. So I didn't show my full, like, all 90 plus whips that I have. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that too. But I'll be honest, I've been a little jaded with some of the stuff that's happening on YouTube, FlossTube. I'm just frustrated because it's not easy to come out here and film a FlossTube video. And I'm not saying it's like, oh, this is like really hard. It's not so much it's hard, but you're being very vulnerable when you put yourself on a YouTube channel and in a video, and you're opening up your life, you're cross-stitching to a lot of different people. Some people who are like much aligned with like, oh, I like what you work on, and others who are like, oh, maybe it's not what I work on, but I can appreciate that you're putting work into that. But I'm seeing a side lately of YouTube and Instagram that's really, really been very, it's frustrating, but it's also really sad because there are some people who are coming out now with so many comments that are just hurtful. Like just some of the stuff that people are divided on. We don't need to be a divided community. We really don't. Like I thought when I entered FlossTube and just started connecting with other FlossTube and cross-stitchers, and like all of us, we're all here together. Some of us do videos, a lot of us do Instagram, and then there's even more that just watch. And I think at first, I've those of you who've been with me for a while, I've been burned a couple of times, right? Like, you know, just I come out with stuff. I admit I'm socially awkward, so sometimes I just say things that I don't really intend to be interpreted a certain way, but a lot of people take it out of context, or they'll think that I meant something that I didn't mean, or it's very quick to take judgment against somebody for what they've said without really knowing the context. And I've just been seeing that a lot lately on Instagram, where people are, you know, oh, so-and-so, they said that in their video, oh my gosh, can you believe it? And it's getting to be so gossipy and so divisive. Like, we're not all one community, and I thought we were. Like, what happened? Did I miss something? Like, did something change? Or is it just me all of a sudden just realizing, like, we've been divided this whole time with those who like this and those who like that, and those who are, like, attacking each other for it. Like, I don't mind what anybody says in their video. If you have political views, if you have social views, if you have preferences on what you like to stitch and preferences on what you don't, fabrics you love, fabrics you hate, I'm not going to judge anybody for that. But I feel like there are these groups now that have taken camp in completely opposite sides, and they're starting to go at each other. Like, what happened? Did I just miss that? Like, has it always been like this? Or am I just now just like opening my eyes? Like, I'm a naive person. I assume the world is a good place, and I always assume the best in everything. And when someone says something, I assume they had good intention. And that always comes back to bite me. And my husband's always telling me, like, you know what, you're too naive, you're too green, he always looks for things like, that's potential danger, right? Like, he's very aware, and he's very tactical, and I'm very much in the clouds. I'm like, oh, the world is wonderful, and all the butterflies, and so we kind of help each other. Like, I kind of like help him to like come out of like and enjoy some things, and he helps me to kind of come down out of the clouds and be grounded in real reality. And but I really thought the cross-stitch community was more loving and caring than what I've been seeing lately. And I almost didn't want to come back and do a video, and I thought, I'll do a video, I'm gonna keep it all about stitching. I'm just keep it positive, because cross-stitching is our community. For me, I'm still up in the clouds. So when I see these things that are happening and the people who are leaving nasty comments on channels and who are attacking people because they said a word that in their opinion is not politically correct, that stuff, I don't want to be a part of any of that. But it's hard to avoid it. So I would just ask, if you see these things on your channel, if you see something you don't like, don't just immediately take to your keyboard and start typing a comment, because think about it. That person has their own perspective. Everybody has their own ideas. Everyone has their own preferences. I can appreciate that someone is working on a project that the subject matter isn't something that maybe I agree with, but that person who's stitching on it, it matters to them and it's important to them and they're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I can appreciate that. So before you jump behind your keyboard and leave a comment about something you don't like, or oh, thank you for doing this in your video and not doing that, like, let's just not do that to each other. Let's be kind. Let's love each other. Like, appreciate what each one of us in cross-stitch community has to offer. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And I apologize for the small rant, but it's been bothering me lately, and it's been keeping me from being a little bit more engaged in Instagram and doing videos. And I wouldn't say it's the whole reason why I haven't done a video in a couple months. I really have been busy and doing stuff, but it makes it harder. Every time you want to sit and get behind a camera again, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to put myself out there again, because I don't know what kind of comments I'm going to get. Like, if I say something that's awkward, or if I use a word that someone interprets like, oh, well, did you really mean that? And then taking over to Instagram and starting to say, like, she said this in her video, and like, I don't even know you're saying that in Instagram because I'm not following everybody. And all of a sudden, if I don't respond, I'm like, oh, she's not responding, so she must be like evil. And I don't know. Let's just get along. Let's just love each other. Let's not take to our keyboards and be mean to each other. All right, last thing is my giveaway. I have a giveaway from my last video. I had said use the words winter or snow, because it was actually winter time when I had my last video. And I had reached 4,000 subscribers on my channel. Thank you all for being a subscriber and for watching me faithfully, and again, just hanging out with me. It's fun to hang out together and share our love of cross stitch, and thank you so much for being here. So I'm gonna pause because I haven't actually chosen, I haven't done the whole like pick the winners yet from the last video, so I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna do it right now and record it on my phone so that I can put the footage in here so you can see who the winners are. And all right, so one of the prizes was going to be the Winter Cabin Dimensions Gold Collection Kit. And the second was going to be, or is going to be, a Heaven and Earth Designs chart of your choice if you're the winner. So hold tight, I'll be right back with the winners. So this last section of my video is for the giveaway winners. So we've got this Dimensions Gold Collection Kit called Winter Cabin. I love this one so much, I bought two, so I'm going to give one away. And it was to the person who used the word winter in their comment. I did random comment pickers, so I'm going to show that here. And the winner of that one. And the winner of that one is the Doxy Stitcher. This is loving your conversion on Cinderella's Castle. I live in Florida. We don't see any snow in the winter. So that is our first winner of the Dimensions Gold Collection Kit. And the next winner is for the Heaven and Earth Designs pattern of your choosing. And here's the winner of that one. The winner is Sarah Webb, 1450. So congratulations to Sarah Webb and the Doxy Stitcher on your winnings. So if you'll reach out to me by email, I prefer that. Send me an email at needleberries@gmail.com. I'll put my email in the description below, and just let me know that you're the winner, and then we'll coordinate on for the kit, mailing it out for the Doxy Stitcher, and then for the Heaven and Earth Design pattern for Sarah Webb, we'll coordinate, and you can let me know which one you want, and that way I have your email address and I can make sure that that gets sent to you. So, all right, I think that's it for today, and thanks for spending some time with me. Sorry about the rant. It just feels like every other video I'm like kind of like complaining about something, and I don't want to do that. I love this to be a positive place, and I'll try to do that going forward. Just stick to the stitching, and maybe at the end do some life updates. I could do a quick update now for anybody who wants to. I mean, there's really not much to say. Oh, and then Stitch North is coming up. Stitch North is in 3 weeks for me. I know there's 2 weekends. I'm going to weekend number 2, which is the weekend of the 28th in Toronto, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm driving this time, which last time I flew, and it was great, but I couldn't take very much with me. But last year when I went, I flew, but then I also went to visit my dad afterward. Like I did another hop on another flight to another city to visit him. So then I flew home after that. This year it's just Stitch North. I'm going to drive up and then drive back. It's about 12 hours each way. It's not too bad. You can do it in a day. So I think that's my plan. I'll take my minivan, still holding on. I had a couple issues with it in November and December. Had some repairs, major repairs. I shouldn't say major. I mean, it's stuff that just happens with the aging out process of a vehicle, just oil leaks and things like that. But Stitch North is going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing some friends. Amanda's going to be there, Lucky Chance Stitcher, and Amy's going to be there, Fiber Arts Amy, and Ali Z is Crafty is going to be there, and who else is going to be there? I don't know. If you're watching and you're going to be there, leave me a comment, let me know, because I'm weekend too, and I've checked in with some people that were there last year at the same weekend as me, and now this year it turns out we're at different weekends, so I'm not going to get to see everybody that I saw last year, which is kind of like making me sad. But anyway, if you're going to be there at weekend too, let me know. I'd love to at least like say hi and walk around and try and find you, because it's in a big room like that. It's kind of fun to. It's like a treasure hunt. It's like, oh, where's so-and-so? And you can walk around and find out where people are. All right, so everybody that I know who's going right now, their name starts with A, except for me. So Ashley, Stitch and Shorty, Amanda, Amy, Allie. I'm Catherine. I start with a K. My middle name is Anne, so it starts with an A. So I'm like, can I still like hang out with you guys? Even though I don't start with my first name doesn't start with an A. But anyway, see, I'm silly. I just blah, blah, blah. I think that's it for today. I keep saying that. Okay, that's it for today. And then I go on another rant, but I think I'm actually going to wrap it up and get this edited and posted. And thanks again for spending time with me. And love seeing you guys on Instagram and YouTube and seeing what you're working on and all your update posts. And yeah, I hope to be back again. I don't know. Last time I said, oh, it might be 2 weeks or it might be a month, and then it was 2 months. So I never promise when I'm going to do another video, but I will be doing some more stitching. So hopefully I'll have more to show you next time in progress and stuff, and maybe a couple of special videos with like my dimensions kits and maybe a mid-year whip parade. I don't know. We'll see. I'm actually potentially moving my craft room from the basement to another room, one of our empty bedrooms on the 2nd floor. It gets a little bit warm, hot, like in the summer up there, and even in the winter. But in the winter it would be nice if it was warm, but there's a window. And where I'm at here in my basement craft room, it's not really set up right now for me to set up a sewing machine. So, and I work down here, so whenever I come to this room, I always feel like I'm working. So when I come down to my craft stuff, I don't like that mix of like, oh, I'm like, I work here and then I play here. Like those need to be separate. I need a separate room for work and a separate room for my crafting stuff. So I'm going to put, so I'm going to set up a new craft room. I'm going to set up my sewing machine and get a nice table, like a sewing table, so I can leave it up all the time and maybe start doing some more sewing stuff. Like I'd love to make my own project bags and project rolls and, sorry, coughed. I just edit that out. You don't need to hear me coughing. But I love sewing. I used to do some quilting in the past. Each of my kids has a quilt that I made for them, and I don't know if I'll get into full-fledged quilting again, but I do definitely love to sew, and I'd love to make my own project bags or make my own, do my own finishing, like do sewing, like just different like pillows and, you know, stuff like that. That'd be fun. So I'm going to do that. And I thought I might, at that point when I get my new craft room shown or set up, I might do more of a, because I'm so disorganized right now. Like everything is kind of everywhere because I don't want to get it all like sorted and organized and then just have to do that again when I move my craft room. So next month I'll probably do that. When I get back from Stitch North, I'll probably set up my new craft room. And anyway, all that to say, when I'm resetting everything up in there and I'm fully organized and I know where everything is, I might do a parade at that point. Because it's been a while since I've walked through everything that all my works in progress. All right, I will see you guys hopefully again soon. In the meantime, enjoy your stitching, and I'll see you, talk to you, Instagram, Facebook, not Facebook, I don't know how to on Facebook, YouTube. Anyway, I'll see you in the comments. Bye for now.